maybe now it's sound. It should be sound, but it seems then at least there was image. Oh well, nothing like a good old mute button, right? But thanks for letting me know. I was just having a conversation about nothing. We'll restart it. Hello, internet. Um, I'm transmitting from Stockholm, capital of Sweden, where it looks like it's February, but it's not. It's the 15th of May, 2020. And currently, I wonder if there ever will be a summer or even spring. Um, but regardless, the metal must be spoken of. And I was actually not planning to do like a live broadcast today. And I only, half made it since there was only video to start with. But I did because one of my viewers, one of you guys, was really upset that like, fuck, you're not going to broadcast on Friday. Fridays are boring. You need to entertain me. Okay, fucking hell, of course. And I also need to entertain myself because it is awfully boring. This, I mean, we're not in a lockdown completely. We are free to move, but still, there is a mental lockdown, and I'm starting to feel it because I'm extremely tired of. First off, I'm actually just tired. I feel like I'm slower in the head than normal, which is obviously a really bad thing because I'm normally not that fast, but now I'm even slower. And it feels like this eternal Tuesday. So it's like you wake up to the same day over and over again, and that ain't such a interesting day. So it's pretty boring. And I've been in contact with some of you and some of my friends. It seems like most people, feel the same, that we have now passed the point, where it's like, yeah, we can do this. Of course, we can do it. We will do whatever it takes. But it's getting to me, and it seems to be getting to a lot of people. But then we can always do like live streams like this. And since I am a fortunate person, I know a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends that do a lot of amazing stuff. So I do have some guests lined up. We will be joined today by a man that I don't like talented people. I might have said that before, because they, it feels so tough to see how much talent some people have. And this guy, he has plenty of it. I got to know him through his video creations, which, where he showcases, creativity and talent. And, that's, okay, that's bad enough. He's really good at that. But then it turns out he's not only doing that, he's organizing stuff, and he's running bands that are really good too. So not only is he, a nice guy and a great video producer, yeah, it turns out he is also an awesome musician. But of course, I'm mostly happy for it. I'm kidding. I love people to do stuff, not just sit and complain, but actually try stuff. But some people are just, very good at various things. And normally, when you see someone who's, fucking talented, that's, the tip of the iceberg is that, they succeed at stuff, but there's so much hard work behind it. And there's this Swedish skier, Ingmar Stenmark, who used to be an excellent slalom rider back in the days. He was actually so dominant that they had to change the rules a couple of times in order to make slalom an interesting sport. But this is Sweden. In Sweden, you're not supposed to be too good at stuff. We're supposed to be normal. Everyone's equal and stuff. So they asked him, I mean, how come are you so lucky? And I mean, how can you, have so much luck that you win? And he said, yeah, it's a very funny thing that it seems like people who practice a lot tend to be more lucky. And so that's, of course, always the answer. The thing is that I do not practice stuff enough. I do not practice live streaming enough. And you can tell, right? Because I'm just, I go on here, can't even make the sound work. And then I just sit and, I babble. I might have an idea of stuff I want to convey. But the most important for me, in order to, to make this worthwhile, is that you guys don't feel too afraid to ask questions about anything. I have an opinion about everything and knowledge about almost nothing. So it can be interesting if you challenge me with, for instance, last time someone asked, Celtic frost or battery, stuff like that. That one was easy for me. Joey, my friend, who was also then, he also found it easy, but he was wrong. But he's not here to defend himself now. So now I can, say whatever about, various stuff. Kidding. It was great fun to have him on, and it's great fun for me to be able to share some of the stuff that my friends and acquaintances out there in the field of metal are doing. And in his case, Wormwood, which I find to be such an interesting band, and I really hope that you guys have checked it out if you didn't know it already. And also Withershin, which is the band previous, and a band that I have the privilege to tour on under fun circumstances in Eastern Central Europe a few years ago with Agatha Damon were also on that tour. And funnily enough, after that tour, all three bands split up. So it took its toll. Even more funny enough, now all three bands are back. And let's see. Yeah, Patrick, I know I shouldn't stop. But there are people here, and I'm happy that you guys are joining me for this thing. I mean, to do live streaming is an experiment for me still. But I guess, at the end of the day, I will learn how it works. And I also see a lot of familiar faces here, so it's good. And everyone is talented in something. What is yours? Talent. Yeah, that's it's interesting. Actually, I think. Do I have a talent? It's debatable. Some stuff. I think persistence is my most. That I wouldn't call it a talent, more a personality trait. But when I put my head to stuff, I can become pretty good at it. And currently, I'm playing a computer game called Trials. I have that in common with some other Sjordalf and Nachtgam Negator, to mention a few people who also seem to be stuck on the same game. It's a little computer game where you jump with a motorcycle over obstacles, and it's really tricky, at least for me. I'm not a super avid computer game player. But when I put my mind into, I'm going to have gold on all the tracks, even the tougher ones, then I will put in the hour required. And if that's 300 hours or 3,000 hours, I will put it in there, because if I decide on doing something, I will make it happen. Just like I did with NETHERBIRD back in the day, because NETHERBIRD was an ID. And can we make music slightly different than just getting people together in a rehearsal room and start playing and see what happens? Can we start by writing the songs and then get people along to create a band based on songs we wanted to write, rather than vice versa, get people together? And I put my mind into it, and I have invested who knows how many hours into making it happen, and I haven't stopped putting the hours in. So I think that is a personality trait I have. So even then, when you don't have a huge amount of talent, you can compensate that by focus and time on task. So give me 10 years and I'll be fucking amazing at also live streaming stuff. Do you guys have any talent, stuff that you are good at that nobody knows of? If you are a good Trials player, you can let me know. I'm on Xbox. It's on all consoles, but I only play Trials and Forza 7. That's the only games I play. So, well, that I actually, put some interest in becoming good at. Other than that, It's hard to say. I think it's also very un-Swedish to actually brag about your talents. We are, you know, like a falsely modest people. So we talk down our own abilities, but we become very angry if somebody else agrees. So it's like a false modesty sorts. In any case, I was gonna tell you guys about stuff. Because we live in a day and age where streaming is a thing, right? And we, at least in my case, I stream music. These days I stream 12, 15 hours a day. And I'm actually a very nice person, so I leave my Spotify on also when I go to sleep. So that will render at least some place and some minuscule little payment to whoever happens to be there. But I think streaming for me, it helps me to listen to a lot of music I wouldn't normally find otherwise. Because if I go to my wall of records, I have, I don't know, 1,500 CDs or something, and some vinyls, more and more. But still, I mean, that's just a little tiny speck in the sea of music. And Spotify, you know, and Deezer or whatever all these platforms are called, I mean, they offer everything, and I mean that is cool. But for me as a music appreciator or like an artist in NETHERBIRD has three pillars. We have music, we have lyrics, and we have artwork. And Spotify only sort of helps us convey one, which is the music. But it does not really give our artwork, you know, a nice chance. It becomes a thumbnail that you sort of have to use like a magnifying glass to even see. And even if you do, it's I mean, it's not much. And that's the same for rest. But for me as the lyricist, I mean, I do write lyrics for NETHERBIRD and other bands too. And I actually try to convey something. And then I've chosen pretty extreme forms of music where the lyric is not always super audible. Yet, and hence I think the lyric sheets are very important. It might be that I'm, you know, first off, Wayne, I want people to read my words and, you know, say, fuck, that's the smartest and most interesting piece of lyrics I ever read. Might not happen. But still, I want it to be possible. But I think it could be that I'm old school, because when I grew up and I took my hard-earned fucking money, at least 100 euros a month, and I bought CDs because that was the format then. And then I really studied the album, the cover art, the lyrics, the thank you list, because that's where you could find a lot of, you know, suggestions about other bands, and also band photos, even, because I mean you could see which T-shirts Napalm Death had on that photo, and that way you could also find out, you know, other bands that were, you know, important. And these days, all of that shit is gone, because so I can almost not figure out where they recorded the stuff, who is even in the band. What is the lyrics and stuff, and I mean, I get that. Maybe it doesn't matter so much, but for me it matters a little bit. So that is why I, a few years ago, Black Book, made a book where I decided to collect all the lyrics of all our tunes. Let's see if I can showcase how it looks like. It's not going to be so easy to see it because it's black and I have some sort of green screen going on. But I wanted to add something else. So on this doesn't really work, does it? Wait. I also wanted to add something more. So I had an artist friend make an interpretation of each album and made a like artwork. So I collected all of that in this book, which is almost, you know, LP sized format. So here you can basically go from the first tune we ever wrote, which is Bulwell Black. And in those days, I did not save up on. I know this is not going to be possible to see, but in any case, this way I thought, oh fuck, this is a little bit interesting way of making the NETHERBIRD lyrics and other stuff available. But this book became extremely expensive to print because of the format. So I could only, you know, dare to make 25 copies, and they sold out before they were printed. And that sucked, because my idea was not, you know, to make a super expensive coffee table book that nobody can ever get. So I made another book, this one, which is simpler. It's just black and white. There is really not any artwork. It's just the lyrics, starting from the first fucking recording to the very last, or latest, I would say. So the latest one in this one is Into the Vast Uncharted. It wasn't actually released when the book was released. And this book costs me €5 to print, and I sell it for 10. So it makes, you know, a little bit of an income, but still I think it's very affordable, because it's like 6 albums worth of lyrics, and you can, you know, read my super interesting little intro and stuff. But I still don't know if it's a good idea, or if it's just me being old school and wanting, you know, to make it something worthwhile, because I've been thinking that it would be cool. Because the problem with Spotify for me is that I find something really cool, but I don't bond to it like I used to. And I don't rediscover it by finding it in my, you know, in my bookshelf. So I thought maybe if you make something that's, you know, a physical object, maybe that adds something to it. But I don't know. Time will tell. I keep doing it because I mean I find big pleasure in books myself, but yeah, we'll see. But I just had to sort of explain why we made that book project, because it's not. We don't make a lot of money from, you know, the various stuff we make. I just wanted to tie together the streaming media, which I'm all for, with, you know, the old school paper and ink sort of thing. But I saw there was also some questions here. So, do you remember the first NETHERBIRD concert? Asked David. Yes, I do. Of course I do. But I don't remember the exact date. It was in May 2010. And we played a small venue in Stockholm, and we invited some other bands that we like, Styggelse, which is now defunct, but a really, really good band from Gothenburg. It means abomination, but in Swedish, so it's Styggelse. And Pagan Rights, which is already then was, you know, an old school, very credible and you know, legendary almost band. And headliner that evening was Deviant. And Carl, who you met a few shots ago, he was playing in Deviant then. This was Deviant did that gig and maybe one more before disbanding. Deviant, when it started, was the drummer of Marduk and the singer of Marduk, Legion. But he quit the band. They made 1 or 2 more gigs. One of those gigs was together with us. And actually, I think in a bit more than 10 days, another friend of mine will join this chat, and he was also a Deviant member. And there might be even more Deviant members. So Deviant was a really good band, really cool. So that was the first gig. NETHERBIRD played pretty short, and we were nervous as fuck. But actually, I think we did pretty good. We did deliver some stuff. I also remember I decided to have, you know, blood in my face, and it ran down into my eyes. So that was also a lesson learned, that it was not actual blood. It was like this theater blood, which felt like fire in the eyes. It was really nice. And let's see, I'm sorry, but I am yeah, Jane, I agree. I mean, streams make you discover maybe the most the most popular song normally from an album, because that's the one that pops up. And I think sometimes even I can feel that I'm really bad at getting into the full albums. While as when I was a teenager and I bought a CD, that fucker was expensive. So even if I didn't like it, I spent time enough because I had to like it, because it was like a Stockholm syndrome. I bought this fucking shit, and if I didn't like it, it meant that I wasted 12 euros, which was a shit ton of beers. So, but it really made me give albums time, and if you give something enough time, it might you might find stuff there that's not obvious. I think Spotify, it really gives an advantage to really, I wouldn't say, pop structures or whatever, but the most obvious, the most hard hitting song, or, the most direct song has the biggest chance there. Whilst I think a lot of stuff might have value, but you need to work it harder to get into it. But then you get bands like Wormwood that we spoke of last, that actually do stuff that requires quite a bit of listening before you can get into it, and still they seem to be pretty successful at Spotify. So yeah, maybe we're learning. I don't know, and I don't want to sound too. I'm not really complaining about streaming. It's just like radio. You didn't get lyric sheets with the radio songs either, and still it was important to reach out there. But somehow I want it to be possible to also connect to the paper and the lineup. I want to read the history of each recording and stuff. So that's why I made a book. But it's not selling. It's not on the bestseller list. So of course it sells, but so maybe it's sort of, I just had to make it and see what happens, and then we'll see. In any case, I am gonna have a guest on soon, but since I always say, oh, I'm gonna answer that question, and I got a question that I promised last time that I would answer, and then I didn't, because I'm a vicious asshole who don't answer questions. So I will do it now. And it was someone who asked me what my main influences as a singer are, or in the extreme area, I hope. And I have to say, the person who really taught me how growl should be, when I heard it, it's Barney Greenway from Napalm Death, with the Harmony Corruption album. Because when I heard that, it's like, yeah, that's the most brutal and awesome stuff I've ever heard. So that's when I heard that album, I started to growl. I was already a bass player, and I found my way of mimicking whatever stuff is doing. And I'm gonna send a thing. And I can't say I succeeded, reaching Barney Greenway's level, but I found my own way of interpreting growl. And then I was actually very impressed and inspired by Burism. So for my highest pitch stuff, that is actually where I found most of that inspiration to try to go insanely, the screeching sort of thing. And then Jens Rydén, the singer who sang on Vitra, the first Nagelfar album, I think he also made something incredible when he vocal-wise. So that has inspired me quite a bit. And he's a really cool guy. I got to know him in recent years, but already then he was pretty much, an inspiration. So I think that's my starting points, and where I sort of felt I could get the traction, and this is what I want to do. And then over the years, I've sort of chiseled my vocal stuff into what I think is something that is purely me, and that is the result of, if you have to do it live evening after evening, you got to find something that's not killing you. You got to find something that is doable and repeatable, both on the album and on the stage evening after evening. So then you got to find something that doesn't make you a mute the day after, or if you have a cold, you need to be able to still pull it off somehow. So my current vocals is my own, but my inspirations are those that I mentioned. And now I will put on a guest, and let's see. He is labeled Katarina currently, but here he is. You might be muted, sir.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yeah, great. How are you, man?
I am really good. How are you? Can you just introduce yourself shortly, and welcome to this little Friday quarantine stream.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. So I'm Guilherme, and I have 2 bands, and I did one of your latest videos for NETHERBIRD.
You did.
Yeah.
That's how I got to know you. That was, but I mean, that was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So that's when you sort of got started, but you're based in Portugal, right?
Yes, north of Portugal. Yeah, I think we connected a bit after I first started doing music videos.
Yeah, because you did, I think you did the Belfagor video pretty much sometime before that, and then I came across that, and I mean, like I normally do, I ask people, if I find something that seems cool, I ask, would you be interested? And already then you were crazy enough to say, yeah, fuck yeah, it would be cool. So that's how we met.
Yeah, that was actually my first music video shoot that I would just fly to the band. That was my first one.
Yeah, and it's been happening a lot of stuff in your life since then. Can you just update me? Because I mean, fuck, it's been ages, and you just do stuff after stuff after stuff. I don't know if you heard me. I don't like talented people, but I still like you. But okay.
Yeah, I was watching a bit before you inviting me in. Yeah, so we did that video, and 2016 was pretty busy for me, music videos wise. I just did the same as I did with NETHERBIRD. I just flew around Europe, and I did one thing in China too. Yeah, so it was pretty busy trying to create a name out of like a director of extreme music, I guess. And that same year I just re-grabbed my guitar and started doing some riffing and just created a band. And since then it's been overlapping work with focusing on music, which was something that I was not expecting to do when I met you. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, but I mean, that video, it was early. NETHERBIRD was also, for us, it was fairly new to work with, an external person. And but already then you're extremely hardworking and passionate. So, it's I think everybody's pretty fucking happy to have working with a guy like you. But
thank you.
But out of more recent times, can you mention a few videos that you made that you think that you're happy about, or that came out in a cool way?
Oh, I did more recently I did 2 big ones for Enthroned and Dark Fortress. Those were pretty big in terms of reaching. But yeah, I know that last year I just stopped doing that many music videos because I was just, not that I was just near like a burnout or something. I just thought that maybe I should just stop a bit and so that I can come back a bit later and a bit stronger in ideas, because I was just overlapping a lot of stuff, and I was just creating over already created ideas. I was just recycling a lot of stuff in my head. I was not being that much creative anymore, so I just stopped for like a half a year or something, at least music videos. And yeah, then I just came back a bit more motivated, and yeah, it's been like that since COVID, I guess.
Fucking shit. Yeah. How's stuff in Portugal? I mean, in Sweden it's fairly lax. I mean, people keep distant. We don't like each other anyway. I mean, so for us it's normal. 2 meters, no problem. But how is it in Portugal? Yeah, exactly. How is it in Portugal?
Well, at first we were one of the first ones to just we just knew that this thing would not bother us. At least our government was pretty damn sure it would not bother us in any way, because it was just stuck in the other part of the world. But yeah, it's not that I'd say bad. Of course, people have died, and we had like nearly 30,000 cases or something. But still we didn't came to the same point as Spain or Italy, or it was not like that, because we at the same time that we were one of the first skeptical ones, we were also probably one of the first ones to just lock down everybody and just shut down everything just like that. Because I remember it was so quick that it was on the same like 2 or 3 days that we just got like a festival canceled for late March, and all of a sudden I was just canceling a lot of stuff on that same day, because the news were just dropping and dropping, like this thing will shut down, and if cultural events happen this specific weekend, which was that one, this thing will spread like a bomb or something. So yeah, we just stopped everything just like that. On 1 week or 2, we shut down the whole country.
Yeah,
but so far we're starting to reopen everything. On Monday we will reopen, I think, mostly everything. The only thing that it keeps being pushed back are some shops, like tattoo shops and all that, and cultural stuff like concerts, because as you know, all summer festivals and concerts just got canceled. So we don't know how it will happen with that. So, but I guess it's the same over there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have a cap. You can gather 50 people, but I think it would be hard to even get 50 people to get together right now, because everybody's pretty aware. We don't have much. We never had a lockdown like that, but in practice, it's been more or less the same. It sounds like Sweden is the Wild West. When I read, foreign media, it's like we used to be, the most boring and regulated country in the world, and all of a sudden it seems like, we are going Wild West, but it's not. It is.
Yeah, we keep hearing on the news something like here, watch how Sweden are not keeping their distance, and they are still handling COVID, or they are not handling COVID. So a lot of conspiracy about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we know about that. But and I think, I mean, time will tell, if our government need to regret not doing more. But I think on the positive note, people have been, not so isolated, and some businesses have been still going pretty okay, I think. But the cultural sector, just like anywhere, it's dead. I mean, there are no concerts, no festivals, no whatever. So it was the first to close, and it will be the last to open. So I mean,
yeah, same here.
King Dude, the gothic country artist, whatever.
I know.
Yeah, he's stuck in Sweden actually because he was on tour, and yeah, so he's gonna do a concert 15 days from now for 45 people. So actually, he will do a gig. It's a shitty gig.
It's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah. I wanted tickets to that gig, but I was too late. Of course, I mean 45 tickets. I mean, what an exclusive gig. But yeah, that's basically the only gig that the rest is just stream stuff and festivals and everything. It's just even the biggest ones, they had to cancel, and I think it will take a long time before they're up and running. But sir, you're not just here because you're an awesome video producer, and we will post a lot of your videos also because people need to check it out. The video you made for us, it's called Windwards, where I have a cowboy hat, which people are offended by. I love that.
Why? Why are they offended?
I don't know. It's maybe I just look too goddamn good. I don't know. No, actually, as soon as you do anything outside, the norm, the square, then it's you take a risk, but that's okay.
Well, still was one of the best locations I ever had for a video.
Yeah, that location, man. I mean, Satan's Democracy. They tore it down now.
Shit.
Yeah, it was. For people, you should watch the video. I mean, it all looks like we had, we staged stuff for days, but we didn't. We were recording it in a huge art installation called Satan's Democracy, which was like 2 or 3 floors in a huge office building where different artists just, done their stuff. That was a cool location for sure.
One of the best I ever had for sure, because if it was still opened, I would just pick some flights and just go there again, because it was just crazy. And we stood like there for like what, 1 or 2 days?
Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, you would need like a whole week to cover everything video wise.
Yeah, it was huge, and some of the stuff more modern, it was just really cool. But you don't only make videos, you are also in some bands that are taking off. Can you tell me a little bit about those bands, and and also the viewers, the current and the ones that will look at this afterwards?
Yeah, in mid 2016, I created a black metal project called Gaerea, and we released a first EP in November that same year. Like 2 years. So we've been releasing stuff since then. So we're now about to release the new record in late July on Season of Mist, and the new song dropped like 1 or 2 days ago. The reaction has been way over the top and crazy. We're having a really nice time, and well, I have another project which I created with a former Gaerea drummer, the one Pedro, who recorded some stuff for Gaerea, called Oak. It's a funeral doom death project, like 2 guys just blasting speakers and having fun. It's a completely different approach of Gaerea, of course, where we just 2 guys, super simplistic, minimalistic way of running a band, something that I really missed because it's, well, super different with Gaerea. And it's like an go-to escape thing for me, at least mind-wise, where we can just we work really well together, jamming together. We always end up with really nice stuff when we just leave out everything and just spend like 1 or 2 hours just jamming around. So because we knew that, we tried to create something out of it, which we called Oak, and we released the first album late last year in December.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we had a lot of plans for this year, but yeah.
Yeah. I saw the first time I touched upon Oak, there was this, you did a video where you are both like playing in the studio, almost like Ginger and their video, but this is just you two guys playing, and it's so, you can really feel the dynamics between you guys. It's annoyingly good. It's so fucking, yeah, it's yeah, it gives me goosebumps when I saw it, and that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, the story behind it was that well, this thing just, well, at least here in Portugal, just blew a bit out of nothing, because we got invited, because we took the photo shoot, the first photo shoot we ever did, and it was a nice one. But out of that, because we shared the pictures, and it was just two guys, and we said we did like Funeral Doom. We got invited to do what would be our first show, which it was absolutely crazy, because first it would be on this ancient like chapel, like a old church in the north of Portugal. And second, we would be opening for the kings of the genre, which are Bellwitch. So we just thought like, well, maybe we should record something, because people don't know us. Let's just go to the studio where we will record the album, and just like with whatever we have, let's just try to record something, like doing this live session or something, like maybe people will like it and follow. And yeah, it turned out really nice, at least reaction wise. I remember it was a good vibe out of it. Yeah,
very much. I mean, to me, but I mean, you also get the feeling that you guys are like super serious musicians, but also it's groovy, and I think it's really cool. So I mean, best of luck with that project. But going back to Gaerea a little bit.
Tell me.
I actually, it was funny because I knew that you were going to be online tonight, and just today, a good friend of mine in Australia, she's like, "Yeah, fuck, you need to check this band out." I was like, "Yeah, maybe you should check out my shot tonight." And she's like, "Yeah, it's 4:00 in the morning, but why?" I was like, "Yeah, one of the guys going to be on." She's like, "Oh, dude," and and then some other Australian, also like black metal appreciators, were also like really going insane over the new video that I think it dropped. Did it drop today or yesterday?
It was 2 days ago. Yeah,
Today,
2
yeah,
days ago.
with the silhouettes and stuff. So the video, who directed it? Did you do it, or?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, it looks amazing, I have to say.
Thank you.
Really, really cool. I mean, it's classic in one way, but at the same time, for this type of music, it's not classic. It's quite, you know, avant-garde, I would say. It's really, but it adds something, because it's, I mean, yeah, it's just different than, you know, the more expected occult stuff. This is more like what Tribulation might do, or whatever. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we were planning. Well, there's a lot of new stuff coming up, but what I can say is that well, we were just planning this for quite a while. We were just waiting for the right permissions from the government just to do it, because we had to just meet again, and we haven't seen each other for like nearly 2 months. So everything just had to be paused for a bit, and we did a lot of other work, desk work, and yeah. So we just met, and I prepared everything in my studio, and we just did it the best we could. Yeah, and there's a lot of tricks over there in effects work and scenario wise. We were just experimenting as we went with the vibe of the shooting and all that. So yeah, I think in the end the result of the video, I really like it, because we never saw Gaerea as a band that would show the band performing. But it has come to the time that we felt like it was needed to portray one of the things that we end up doing the most, which is our kind of performance, the frantic performance that we have live. We try to portray it into a video that could be just that. No shaky cameras, no special effects work on bodies and atmospheric stuff, abstract visuals, just the pure energy in a video. And I think it turned out quite nice as the creator of the video. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I can just tell from my friends all over the world and how they react on it. And for me, it's of course it's extra fun when I know you and I know all the hard work that goes into it. But sometimes just you get it right. It's both. I mean, sonic wise, sounds really good, but also visually, it feels. I mean, it feels classy, but not classic, which is, something that everybody should strive for, I think. And also, I mean, you landed a deal with a Season of Mist also, which is quite an achievement. It's not easy to get on, the right label, and I think it is the right label to be on, especially, as a rising force. So, I mean, you guys are doing a lot of things right currently.
Thank you. Yeah, we spent 2 years on the road and just focusing on being on the road, promoting our first record, the first full length at least, the Unsettling Whispers album. And some experiences being on the road just changed the band completely. We grew a lot as individuals and musicians and as creators. We mastered some stuff in the band, and being able to in the end ink such a really nice contract and a new record with Season of Mist was just incredibly good and really satisfying to achieve, because we worked really hard for a good result, and I think we're getting a fairly good result so far.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah, but I mean, modesty is always nice.
Portuguese modesty.
It's like Swedish. It's honest. Swedish honesty is always like, yeah, I'm not so good. But if you don't think I'm good, I don't like you. But yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's an accomplishment, and actually, there are labels. I mean, some labels, they sign whatever. Season of Mist is not one of those labels. I know that for a fact. It's hard to get a deal there if you're not, if you're a prime mover somehow. But they look to artistic value, I think, quite a bit actually, and even to the level where they would risk not selling so much just because at least they believe in it and they believe that eventually it will grow into something of significance. And so yeah, it's a big feather in the hat, I would say. But you have a tour that of course was rescheduled, I think, but you have some stuff coming up. You are touring with 2 other bands, right?
Yeah, yesterday we announced a tour with Harakir for the Sky and Shamash or Skamash. Yeah, well, let's stay that way. And it will be for late January it was not rescheduled. It was just something new that popped up for us. We had a lot of plans that just went off, or we just had to rethink them. One of them was the Eastern mini tour in Russia and Finland and Estonia, which we already programmed for the beginning of March. So we're just taking everything and just working hard to reschedule it for next year at the best of our abilities to do so. And well, that tour was just well, a nice move at the perfect time, because well, just one day after the release of the first single, and we still have a lot of stuff to announce that are ready to announce, but we're just waiting for the right timing. Yeah, but that one just, well, moved the waters a bit, quite a bit, at least helping promoting the new song, and just stating clear that we will continue to tour, and we are just coming again for Europe. So let's hope we can do it.
Yeah, let's fucking hope so. That is I would say it's a really eclectic and cool lineup. Those three bands, I mean, all of them are really good, but in slightly different ways. And I think I don't know the Harakiri for the Sky guys so well personally. I have friends who know them, but I tried to book them at one point, and I can tell you, I never come across a band that has, you know, a nicer attitude about stuff. I mean, incredibly skilled and good at what they do, and still, you know, with this mentality that I really liked, you know, that they are passionate about playing and really wants to play, and, you know, not on their high horses at all. But of course, they take their art seriously.
Yeah, we are very, very good friends with the Harakiri people. Well, we're good friends of them behind being, well, crazy fans about their music, and they're liking our stuff. But yeah, so we have a good relationship personally with a lot of the guys, and yeah, so maybe that I think that's why we're also doing this. Well, they invited us to just join them, and I think yeah, it will be just great. I don't know the Scamash guys. I saw them live in a Portuguese fest like 2 years ago, and I thought they were really, really good. But I'm a huge fan of their first album. Not so much maybe of this new one, even though I really like it. But I'm totally crazy about the first one.
Yeah, but I mean, that always happens, I think. You know, the first album you get into is normally the one, you know, that will, you know, be still hard to beat. I
just love the concept and their videos about it, and the idea of having this album split in like a triangle. I loved it. I think, and even their photo shoots, their props, their costumes, it's just like on point. I really like it.
Yeah, they were really lucky. that is normally, you know, what happens when you put a lot of effort into something. Then you're a bit more lucky. I have a question here from the chat, actually. It's a good friend of mine from Moscow, Rika. Could you please tell how you start with making videos? Was it hard to get it started or to get going? Could you tell a little bit about, you know, that aspect of yourself before we wrap this up?
Well, I studied cinema and in the university, and well, I got the luck and slash how do I say, the happiness of doing the video for Belfagor, and then I just thought that maybe I could make a career out of it, and just started sending emails, just started creating a website, a card to show people. One very important thing about everything related to art is to be present personally, being at events, meeting people, not being super annoying on the internet, because no one really likes to have like a message out of nowhere just to check out links and like bands and stupid stuff. They like to know people personally, and well, it's the best. At least for me, it has ever been the best way of presenting my work, meeting bands at festivals. For example, I did a video back 2 or 3 years ago with Helheim, and we were just chatting on via Skype, and we met. I met one of the guys when he was playing with Toca in Barcelos Metal Fest in Portugal, and we had this really long talk about everything, life aspects, and all stuff. So that just bonded everything in a nice way. So meeting people, trying to show your face, and just well, do your best to pitch a good project is the best thing. You don't need to like have all the fanciest equipment, all the most expensive stuff ever. Well, just have to be creative with what you got, and having good references, consume art, like music, because if you're doing music videos and you don't like the music that you're working for, well, it will be a shitty video for sure, because that thing will portray. It's the same thing as a comedian telling jokes that he doesn't find any funny, you know. So you will not convince people otherwise, and I think you got to be convinced that you're doing a good job, and you're honoring the other artist by doing a thing that you like, and you think they will appreciate it. So yeah, I think part of the job as working as a music video is the same thing as doing like artwork for artists and all that, because this is a service, but it's also a form of art, and you're being commissioned to like ink your mark, your art mark in this other form of art. So it needs to be something that everyone will be proud for ages, because if you don't like it, or if the artist is not really sure, but he has to go ahead because of budget and timing and all of that thing, that artist will not speak to you ever again. So yeah, and it's a honor and joy and proud to work with other artists, and just put my effort and my vision, and just recreating their art, for example their lyrics, taking it and doing a music video out of it, or taking their cover and just rebuilding their cover in a music video. So it's all a work of again, it's a service. In the end, it's a service that needs to be paid and all that thing, but it's an art work also. So it needs to be done with the passion.
Rika says that she thanks you for the answer, and I can say honestly, I mean, you're an awesome dude to work with. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have this conversation 4 years down the road.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, but you know, it's mutual, because you meet so many people who want, you know, to make a buck from a band, and I mean, they come to the wrong place, because bands are, you know, piss broke.
It's the wrong industry to get rich, I guess.
Yeah, it is. But if you find a person who's passionate about stuff, like you are, and works hard, and really, you know, does the best with, you know, cranky band. I mean, bands are difficult. I mean, just to deal with a band is difficult, and still to make it, you know, the very best product you can. That requires more than, you know, just a camera, I can tell you for sure, and you got that. But I mean, you're also a musician yourself, more and more so. So I mean, these days, I mean, you eclipsed so many of the bands you've been working with in the stuff you make yourself. And I mean, that is not just luck. That's hard work and dedication. It's a privilege.
No, thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of effort in all of this that I've been well achieving through the past like 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it's as I said, it needs to you're not just pulling magic out of your pocket. Everybody will like it. In the end, you're also competing with attention on the internet. In the end, you're still doing like a video for the YouTube platform. It will not be a cinematic or a film that will just show on Netflix or going to the cinemas or the movies or whatever. It's not that industry. Most of the time you're creating for YouTube and YouTube only. So you're competing reach wise on the internet with absolutely everybody that is posting on that day, which is like millions of posts. And so yeah, it's in the end, if you're not passionate about the project that you're releasing and just focusing on numbers and money and all of those things, well, I think it's one of the most, if you're just thinking on that, maybe it's one of the worst jobs ever.
Yeah,
because,
I would say.
because yeah, it's not that I don't get a fair good amount of money for my work. It's just that, well, you're working with most 100% of the people that you're working with, at least in extreme music videos, are very passionate about their stuff. They care a lot about their lyrics, like you do. They care a lot about their concepts. They care a lot about the artwork, and then they also care about the budget that they can spend. So part of your job is to knowing their budget and still be creative with that, because, well, you're not like a Rammstein or Behemoth or whatever that you can pull most things very easily. Most of the time you have to work with a band, and like our video, if I didn't knew that you guys had access to Satan's Democracy art installation, we would just end up doing something that maybe would be not as good as that, because I would just ask you guys to find a studio or a black box or something, because we have to work together. In the end, of course, again, this is a service, but if you don't work closely with the artist and knowing what they have access to, well, if you're going to Sweden, to Stockholm, and I never been there, it was, I think it still was the first time, the only one that I've been to Stockholm. If I just went there and you didn't have anything, you didn't know anyone, and you didn't want me to see anything, if I didn't ask you or all of those things, if there wasn't any communication whatsoever about the video, I was just popped in Stockholm, we wouldn't have such a cool video. You guys did a lot of work going there before me arriving and choosing the rooms. So yeah, it needs to be a constant cooperation. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a total chaos.
Yeah, it's tough enough anyway. Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, but it's really cool, and I mean, you can also hear that you like any musician are just as passionate about your stuff, and I think that's also very important. That we don't have much budgets, but we have a lot of passion and interest in what we do, and then
that's the most important.
Yeah, it is, because at the end of the day, we don't know now what will be remembered 100 years from now, but we will know that we will work the most we can to make things worthwhile. And I mean, that's also why you and me, we sit here, we don't get paid to sit here and have this dialogue. I mean, we do it because we want to, talk about the things we are passionate about. And sometimes we're just lucky also that, you know, people like Rika that I know personally, who's in Moscow, she's also passionate, but she's like a concert photographer. And
well, if that's so, I think it will be on the 4th of March then. And
cool. Then you guys will meet.
Yeah. If she's a photographer, that would be really nice to have. Yeah, maybe she can just drop us a message or something. Yeah.
Definitely. If I know her right, she will be there regardless, because that's how
Cool.
Moscow works. I mean, passionate people, they will just be there.
Yeah, we're very looking forward to just debut on those 3 countries, and mostly Russia, because it's been we've been trying a lot to just reaching in Russia, and yeah, I think I'm really excited to do it.
You should be. I can tell you honestly that I mean, I only did one like a mini tour in Russia, but I will never forget it.
Great.
It's like, you know, how it used to be, you know, in our countries like 20 or 30 years ago, that people still give a fuck actually about extreme music. And I mean, they don't get, I mean, nowadays of course there's a ton of bands in Moscow, but as soon as you leave Moscow and you go a little bit outside Moscow, then, you know, people are, you know, it's the extreme passion. It's awesome. And Russia is, it's super cool also. I mean, I love to be there as a visitor as well, but the fans there go crazier than, I mean, it's not like the Stockholm crowd. It's always like they don't give a fuck. It's better. So
you guys have the coolest and most cult bands. That's why you got to be.
Yeah, like, I mean, cult. Everybody. Yeah, and, but exactly, everybody's in a band, and they will just, you know, no, I don't. I have better riffs than you do, and this is just Stockholm.
Yeah, I remember that show we went to in Copperfields.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was a band playing there, and they were just putting their best effort, and everybody was just like, no, not today.
No. That will never happen. That they will never come, you know, when people, you know, go just crazy. But sir, I will wrap this up. Sure. So many thanks for taking time and just to hang out.
Thank you,
so
man.
Good to see you again. And I will make sure. I will make sure to post links both to your bands and also to some of the video creations you made, so people can find it. And this stuff will, of course, also be available afterwards. So I mean, people will find this at some point, and I just hope they check your stuff out and also contact you if they need to at least talk about a video. They should talk to you.
Sure, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to do this. So I'd seen that you guys were doing this new form of talking to people, and I saw 1 or 2 parts of other streamings. But yeah, really nice that you invited me to be part of one.
My pleasure, sir. And this is what we can do. We can help each other out, and we can push stuff that needs to be heard by more people. And the stuff you make is part of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
And have a good evening. And talk to you soon again, my friend.
You too. You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
And I will wrap this up. So, guys, my list of stuff that you need to check out, I didn't get into much of it, but you got 2 suggestions today. I will post a little bit more information, and I really want you to check out both, you know, audioly and visually, those bands that they are really diverse, but both really good. And also it's fun to be able to shed a little bit more of a spotlight on the Portuguese scene. If you have any questions, feel free to, you know, state them, and I will answer them next time. Now I will call it quits, because I need to go and get another beer, and I can't because I'm here at the microphone. And I really hope that you guys, you know, take care, and you know, we'll get through this. these are the quarantine days, and one day we'll, you know, brag about it and tell stories on how awesomely we handled it. But it's always, you know, one day at a time. Wash the hands, keep distance. And on Monday, which is not so, it's just a few days from now, I will be joined by another friend who is also in a plethora of bands, some more known, some less known. And I really hope you guys will be able to check it out, and feel free to interact. This is just me talking from, you know, A to Z, and anything can happen. And I'm thankful for the, you know, the questions, the patience with, you know, me fucking up sound and stuff. And I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in a chat again. Take care. Ciao.